How many devices does it take?
I think it's happening now. Okay. Hello everyone. Please like and share this video. This is Sydney. If you didn't know, now you know. And I'm here to sit and talk about the runes and some of the classes that I'll be debuting for the next couple of weeks. We're going to wait for a couple of minutes to get a couple people in here. And then we'll start the chit chat. Please like and share this video. Jeanette of Spiritual Gardens will also be, maintaining the chat. We are also going to be doing a lot of talking about the Norse, of course, and we're also going to do rune readings later. So if you have any questions about these classes, please share and, write a comment. Let me know some of the things you're wanting to know about these classes or a little bit about these Norse gods, and we'll get into it. Please like, subscribe, and share this video. Let everybody know. Hi, Hale. Okay. So I'm going to talk about some of the classes that I'll be debuting here at Spiritual Gardens. We're also going to get into some of the ways to speak to Norse deities, and also talking about what these classes are going to represent, what you're going to learn from them and get out of them. So first up, topics to discuss, we're going to talk about the Crash Course on the Norse Pantheon workshop. Now, this class I created essentially for people to get a better understanding of how to learn from the Norse gods, but in, basically without reading, a couple of these kind of books. I do love these books. This is actually one of my personal copies, one of my favorites on Norse mythology. But Crash Course on the Norse is essentially a quick and easy way to learn about these Norse deities, as well as a smidgen a bit about their folklore, kind of why they are the way they are. So for example, we have the Allfather Odin. Everybody who is interested in this path or even understanding these Norse deities knows that Odin is the Allfather. He's basically Big Sky Daddy of this pantheon, and essentially he's over magic, death, and war. That's just the symbols. And we know that he hung himself from the Yggdrasil tree so that he could learn and sacrifice himself onto himself to learn about the runes. So because of that, best ways to work with him, probably by wandering, because he is known to be the wanderer. We can also talk about, wandering and knowledge. Essentially understanding more, gaining questions, and knowing how to speak or ask these questions. That's very much Odin tea. So that class will be September 15th, and it will be at 7 p.m. Class tickets are $25 and it is limited. These tickets are going to go fast. If you are wanting to reserve your seat, you can call the number 317-985-6534. Followed by that class, I'll be teaching the Elder Futhark runes class. And I've already taught this class a couple of times. Essentially, we're going to get down to understanding how to use runes, which if you've never seen a rune, this is kind of what they look like, these angular symbols. And this is a Norse divination style. Each one has a specific meaning, kind of like tarot in a way, but as Norse divination, it's more of, there are 24 runes in total. At least in my class, in my tradition, I don't teach the blank rune, but I do teach us how to use these runes and cast these runes, knowing which ones are reversals, which ones are not, and the probability of how to use them when it comes to a rune reading. So here's a couple other ones that I have. Now you can actually buy rune sets kind of like this at the store. This is just my personal bag. If you like Animal Crossing, yeah, this is the good bell bag. This is my personal one, but I've also made handmade rune sets if people are interested as well. This is for Kana. This one's talking a lot about birth and new beginnings. This one is Thorisaz. I call it sometimes thorn in my side. It's also supposed to be connected to Thor, the god Thor. And this is like a beautiful wood too. This is Tiwaz, representative of victory. Also is associated with the god Tyr. And you can actually buy a set of runes the day of class, or you can buy them prior to at Spiritual Gardens. This particular set is $23. This is the handmade rune set. If you also have a love for the runes, but you're a little bit more into using like an actual deck because you're used to cards, there is also these handmade rune decks that my student made, Chrissy. She's a wonderful, wonderful person, and she created these cute rune decks that you can buy. These are $15 in the store, but please hurry because there's only 2 of these left. Aren't these really cute? Really cute, personalized. They even include a cute little bow for it. And I love this blue one too. Like a nice good blue. Nice stable kind of card. And I love the card stock too. So you can also learn this way in my class. A couple of other things that we have at Spiritual Gardens. This is like a set of rune beads. These right here. So these are rune beads that you can either put on your tarot bag. These are beads that you can put onto in your hair, even if you're just trying to enchant them and work with this particular rune. Like this is Algiz or Elhaz. This one's really good for protection. This one is really good to help people or safeguard your home. Really good for warding and protection work. Grab a handful of these. We also have them in silver and gold. This one is Ansu's, which is really cute. Ansu's is connected with Odin and is really good for communication. If you know kind of like Mercury, working with that kind of energy, being good at communicating your messages effectively. The wisdom of Odin as well. These are just so adorable and so cute. This one, a lot of people know this one. This one is Othala, which is actually talking more about family tradition and honoring those traditions. Also, you know, family ancestry, heritage, and things like that. And if you want to get a hold of a couple of these are $3 each at the store. So Also too, the Elder Futhark Runes class is 6 weeks. Classes start September 22nd, so right after the crash course on the Norse Pantheon workshop. It is 6 weeks. Classes they're $15, and you can prepay for $75 up front, or you can pay weekly, $15 a week. So each week we'll be discussing, like, first week is introduction, so we're talking about Odin and we're talking about the Norns and where we've seen, you know, pop culture basically use runes, like Times and Orange is the New Black, or even the movie Midsummer has a lot of runes in it, of course. And then the second week we'll be getting into Tiers Et. Ets are talking about the families of those runes. And then we'll be talking about essentially how to work with Freyrzet. Freyrzet talks a lot more about, like, your surroundings and, like, the physical world around you. Most of the runes that you'll get out of that are like Fehu for money and abundance, or Gebo for gifts and encouragement, things like that. Following week we'll get into Heimdallzet. Heimdallzet is talking about, like, between both worlds of Midgard, you know, our world, versus Asgard, our world. So we'll essentially be talking about how to move in between those worlds, finding the balance in between them. Third week we'll be getting in, third or fourth week we'll be getting into Tierzet. And Tierzet will talk more about, like, how to make sacrifices, you know, going for, like, our causes, charity, helping our fellow person, our fellow man, mostly that. We'll get into ethics on how to use the runes when it comes to rune readings, how to give a proper rune reading, and how to kind of get past a lot of the conversations of, you know, love and money, you know, because that's what most people want to ask and talk about the most. Followed by that, we'll take a rune quiz, okay? I will be including a practical, and I will be also adding in the actual quiz itself, which is 20 questions. So that following week, we're going to move our classes, or at least, like, the workshop for that week, on to November 5th for the Advanced Bind Runes. Advanced Bind Runes workshop, that class is also $25. That's going to be on Thor's Thursday at 6:30 p.m. That class is essentially going to talk about how to use runes and combining them to use for practical Norse magic. So using a bind rune and creating a bind rune is using 2, 3, or 4 runes or more, and using it for your magical purpose. So your magical purpose could be, I want to gain more money and abundance. I want to unlock my third eye, you know, and start my new path in the witchery. I want to be able to work with these gods, these guides, my ancestors, and obtain this knowledge. You can be using bind runes in your candle magic. You could be using bind runes in the work that you do for other people. You could even throw it in your wallet, your purse. It's almost like a sigil, but it's based upon Norse runes. So after that, we will be... So spaces are limited for these classes. So for the crash course on the Norse Pantheon and Advanced Bind Runes, essentially those classes are going to be about 15 people. Sit size is limited, space is limited. Please call to reserve your spot. And you can call the number at Spiritual Gardens, and you can even call in now if you'd like, at 317-985-6534. Now, we will also be getting into doing rune readings tonight. So when it comes to rune readings, I use a combination of 2 things. So I use these cards. This is actually from the Viking Oracle by Stacy DeMarca. So I like to sometimes use this deck because sometimes I'm just so used to using cards that, you know, I try to still keep it fresh and try new things. And there are other times where I do a rune reading and I take my actual rune set and I just learn how to cast them. So casting essentially would be like taking them out of your bag, if you want them to be in a bag, and you can take them out and just kind of pull them that way. So I have Algiz and Tiwaz, so finding victory and strength, but also learning how to protect and guard myself would be of these. But this is the Viking Oracle by Stacey DeMarco. These are the backs of the cards. I thought these were really cool because it kind of has like a Fenrir vibe on this, on the back. And two, I love this deck because it not only gives the runes, but it also gives the gods of that pantheon too, which is essentially what helped me learn and get closer to creating like the classes and working with these Norse gods. Some of the imagery is really beautiful and spectacular. Like this is Nafis, the card of like your needs and necessities. This is Pethro. Pethro is more of like a gamble, more of like a game. There's a lot of chance and luck involved with this card. And some of them actually do have representation of like people, like Manas, which I enjoy because Manas is more of a card talking about like humanity, being like two people and holding each other up, as we have like this warrior kind of depicted right here. Now, before I get into these rune readings, does anybody have any questions when it comes to Norse gods, Norse deities, working with runes? You know, feel free to ask me anything, because I definitely want to help people have like an understanding of runes, and I definitely want to help people not have that misconception about runes. I feel like it's always kind of been like a very gatekeeped kind of divination style, and I feel like people are always saying like, oh, you can't learn this divination system unless you have that ancestry, or you know, unless those gods call to you. Maybe no, it's just like tarot, just like oracle. You know, this divination style is for everyone, and everybody should be able to have access to it and use that. Like no one should ever stop you. Question? Yes. Up. It didn't even roll down, I'm sorry. So I'm gonna look here in the chat. Do you learn younger before elder, Haley? Essentially, you can learn either. As simple as that is. When it comes to Norse runes, you do not have to learn one before the other. Elder Futhark is honestly just the most popular, is what I found. Hey Angel! Hey babe! Also too, the younger Futhark is essentially like taking the 24 runes that you find in Elder Futhark, and you basically scrunch it down to 16. So that was basically more on like a Viking path. Hey Brittany, hey. And essentially that was basically so that when writing out the runes, because you can't actually read them phonetically, that there were different people from different parts of Scandinavia talking and communicating with each other through rune stones. So the younger Futhark you do not have to learn first, the elder Futhark you do not have to learn first. Go to what calls to you, is what I say. I was just more on the path when it came to the Elder Futhark, and I find the Elder Futhark most common, especially when I found like the Viking Oracle. It was basically like the gods are basically saying, you need to learn this. Should you learn both? I feel like you should, because Younger Futhark teaches to me more of how to change these symbols, and then two, that really helps when you're working on like bind runes, because there are some people who don't know both, you know. I just think it helps, honestly, to know both. Also, hi Michelle. What are bind runes? Okay. So I'm gonna just draw on my little paper, my pen and pad here. So we'll take some of the runes that I've been already pulling. So I'm going to create a bind rune that signifies victory and strength with Tiwaz. That looks like literally an arrow. And then I'm going to add it with Berkana, which is talking about birth and new beginnings and bringing things into fruition. And then I'm going to add Algiz, which is going to be like protecting all that I want to bring into manifestation, knowing that I have the strength, knowing that I'm able to obtain this anyway and manifest on my own. So this would be a bind rune. This symbol right here. So this is using Tiwaz for strength and victory. This is using Algiz, and this is using Berkana. That essentially is a bind rune. So bind runes are really great for like essentially your magic, right? So if you're doing candle work, right, and you're saying like, I don't trust this girl at my job, I don't trust the way she talks to me, she acts a little bit funny, you know, you just get a weird vibe from her. You could be protecting yourself using Algiz. You could be, you know, trying to make sure that she doesn't, you know, come for you or talk about you in a negative way using a bind rune and putting that on a candle. You know, like, let's close our mouths, Karen. We're not trying to get in there. Hey, Chrissy. Yes, please come to one of the classes. Girl, come on. Girl, come on. Chrissy's great. They actually made me like a beautiful rune deck for me. They're also the ones who made these. These are only $15 in the store, and there are only 2 left. I'm gonna need y'all to get on these. Okay. Do you guys have any other questions? Like, hit me with your best shot. Come on. Because when it comes to like Norse, or at least like Norse deities and, you know, runes, I know people can kind of feel a little bit like scared to ask, or they're like, I don't know if it calls to me. You know, I've had some people say like, I've got a couple books on it, but I don't know how to use them, which happens all the time. Runes you really have to work with. I would say the same for like tarot. I would say the same for oracle, palmistry, or any other divination style. But runes is definitely like you're committing your time to understanding them and how to work with them. And I mean, they call you the same way. They call you out the same way as any tarot card, as any oracle card. You know, it's still going to resonate. Sorry guys, I'm just taking a look at the chat here. Thank you, Hale, for asking all these questions. Good
question. Chrissy.
Yes. Yes, Chrissy, I am doing an advanced class. I heard you here. I heard you loud and clear last time we talked. And yes, I'm going to do 2 classes. So one is basically on a crash course on Norse divinity, essentially. So crash course on the Norse pantheon, we're going to be talking about Odin. We're going to be talking about Freya, Frigga, Thor, Vidar, you know, Njord, you know. And we're going to talk about them and a little bit of their mythology so that we can understand them better. And then I'm going to give you like a couple of tips of like ways to work with them. A big thing we're probably going to talk about the most is like making offerings. You know, what can we give to these deities? Well, I feel like when it comes to these deities, you have to do your research, just like any other pantheon. But I feel like when it comes to the Norse deities, because they're over these regions that are, you know, we're talking about like the cold, you know, up in the mountains with Skadi. We're talking about Odin being the Allfather and how he wanders, you know, searching for knowledge, and how he gains his wisdom and working with Hugin and Munin. We're talking about Frigga, we're talking about Freya, and how she literally gains like half of the slain. Like she literally gets first pick when it comes to the slain warriors. So that's just a little bit on that. That class is going to be September 15th, and classes are going to start at 7 p.m. $25 for the tickets. And then we also are going to have the advanced bind runes class, and we're going to talk about, you know, ways to work with bind runes and how we can put that into our magic. You do not have to be a practitioner. You do not have to, you know candle magic to take this class. This is essentially just a new way to learn how to scribe, dress, and anoint your candles, or put this into your purse, you know, to bring luck and abundance to you, protect your family, protect your money, protect those around you. Just little things like that. Also, when it comes to working with Norse deities, I'm not sure, and this is just kind of how I feel empathically about this, but I think people are just scared of some of these deities. I will tell you, at least for me, honestly, when it came to Norse mythology, it took me a while to get into it, but it really does give me a better idea about these gods, where they came from, how they reflect, and it gives me a better idea of what they're interested in and what they will do and what kind of energy they'll work with. So definitely take a look at the classes. Advanced Bind Runes is November 5th, and that's going to be on a Thursday. That class is going to be $25, and it's going to be from 6:30 to about 8:30. Oh, and they will be online and in person. You do not have to be in person for these classes. I totally understand when it comes to COVID. Some of us are still in quarantine, and some of us, you know, just want to be more careful, and that's completely okay. You can sign up online, and you can come in person. You just will be having to wear a mask in person. So it's more up to you and your comfortability. I want everybody to be safe. Well, if no one has any more questions, I mean, feel free to please, you know, go ahead and, you know, still leave a comment if you do have a question. But I think I'll go ahead and just get into the rune readings. So, rune readings, I'm doing 1-card pulls, and it is going to be, it's totally fine if you want to donate. You don't have to. But I have a couple people listed here that I'm going to get to first. You can donate via my PayPal, paypal.me/SydneyGlenn. Okay. And you can also Facebook transfer if you need. Either way works. You can donate $3, $5, $10. Doesn't have to be big. And I'll pull a card for you. Right here. And I'm going to use these beautiful, beautiful cards from the Viking Oracle. I'm just going to do the runes. For now, I think that'll be best. And I'll just be going off like the imagery as well as like the meaning behind each rune. Okay. Got a couple that tried to fall out here. Hi, Jazz. Okay, so we're going to start off with this list first, and we're just going to start with John. John, this one is for you. Also, this is just the list of people that, are in front right now. As I go through them, I'll be doing one card poll, can do donation, $3, $5, $10, up to you. And please make sure to like and share this video. So first we're going to start with John. And John, your card, ooh, is Ingus. Okay, babe, I need to know what you doing, okay, on this day, okay? Because, baby, this is Ingus, and this rune is literally like 2 X's on top of each other, indicated here, right? This is talking about a lot of masculine power as well as fertility. Now we're talking about fertility, and maybe you're here to manifest like a certain project. Maybe something is going to come to light soon. Maybe there's been something you've been working on for a long time. Maybe you're using, your masculinity and the force within you to just kind of push forward everything that you need. Putting things together, learning how to build what you need together. Being fertile is also a sense of being a little bit vulnerable. Knowing that you can have growth and change within this time. Ingus is here to say that right now it may look a little bit ominous. Things are going to get kind of strange, but that's okay. We just kind of have to bump along through it, because all growth is, sometimes it's just a lot of growing pains, is what I'm sensing from this. Thank you, John. Now our next person that signed up is Lily. Lily girl, let's just get into it, okay? Okay. Baby, we have Berkana. Okay, this is a really interesting time. There's a lot of fertile energy out here. Look at this beautiful imagery though. So we have like the sun, the moon. We have this beautiful like vinage and foliage like coming out of this kind of nut here. But Berkana, if you know the Bluetooth logo, baby, get into it. This card here is talking a lot about new beginnings for you. Starting over, maybe we're ending a bit of a cycle. Berkana comes to you to tell you that this is the time to start birthing anything that you're wanting to manifest. This is probably the best time ever to reap what you sow when it comes to the crops in your field. This could be projects, this could be relationships. Maybe you're trying to social network and meet new people. But overall, baby, Berkana's telling you that it's time. This is time to manifest, grow, and, be who you're really supposed to be. Okay? Come on, Lily. Our next person on our list is Chris. Hey, Chris. Hey, Chris. Hey, Chris. Now, what's pretty wild about this card, okay, is this is Urus, okay? Now we definitely are coming here with some strength in this card. Urus, I like to kind of see it as a boomerang effect, because it slaps you in the face. You hardly ever see this rune coming. This rune is essentially telling you to stay strong in your convictions, to learn and manifest what you need, but also too, let's have some endurance. Let's stand strong, kind of like Thor even, is kind of the energy I'm getting from this, even though it's not Thor sauce. But essentially taking this card and even this imagery, maybe you're going on more of a winding road. Maybe this is more the time for you to find this endurance in your journeys and in your travels. Maybe you're having to stand up for yourself or stand up for others. This is really a time for you to learn how to fight, but also knowing when to move on. Okay. Next, we're going to have Ashley. Ashley. Okay, girl. Ooh, you got a weird one here. I'm sorry, baby, but this is not these. Okay, not these. I get it. You're like, oh, this is nothing. No, baby, this is the room you need to take care of. This is talking about your needs and necessities is what this room is. And this room comes to you at a time where you need to stop caring about all the things that you're wanting and learn about all the things that you're needing, okay? Especially in this time of COVID, we're looking more in the sense of like maybe not spending as much, maybe having a savings or even maintaining our savings. Maybe we need to start looking more of the things that are necessary for us to live as opposed to, oh, that's that shiny thing I need off the Amazon, okay? So definitely pay attention to how you're spending your money or even to how you're protecting it, okay? Because these are strange times that we're in, babe, okay? Next up is Ian. Ian, this card is for you. This is Manas. Kind of like I was showing you guys earlier. Manas is definitely a card talking about working and helping your fellow man. I mean, this past, couple of months has been kind of wild. Okay, we really need to maybe learn how to support ourselves, but as well as other people. Maybe you're having a bit of like a community, where you're having to help more people, which is great because we do need to have more humility and compassion when it comes to these kind of situations in our life. It would be best to learn how to work with other people. How do we support one another through this time? If somebody's, venting to you about a long day or something's happened in their life, I think the best way to answer them is, how can I support you? How can I help you? Just giving that little bit of support or that lending ear, or if you're able to, nurture them through food or nurture yourself and them, eat with other people, sit in the same hall as these people. That's kind of like the Viking tea of this in a way, helping your fellow man. And you can even see in this card with Manas, we literally have the symbol of like two peas and they're kind of holding each other up. Okay, so take care of that hearth and home, take care of that community, take care of yourself, but also let's think of those around us right now, Ian. Next up will be Michael. Michael, your card is Pethro. Okay. Look, when it comes to Pethro is literally like how you see in this imagery right here. This is a gamble. Okay, I don't know if you're trying to basically make a decision, maybe you're a little bit indecisive, you're not really sure how to go about, this may be a change in your life, but essentially Pethro is coming here to tell you there's a lot of mystery in here. There's a lot that is being concealed from you. It would be best right now, Michael, to kind of make a decision. Don't leave it up to the fates or the gods. Like, you have as much power, and it's up to you to kind of understand, like, we have to make a decision or we can't go forward. Okay, Michael? Next up is Brittany. Hey girl, hey. Hey girl, hey. I'm excited about this card for you because this card is Wunyo. Okay, Wunyo is the card literally of hope and happiness. This is kind of like the feeling that we're having within us. Now, this is a beautiful, beautiful card, and I think this is an even more compassionate and loving message for you to keep this joy going. This may be, you know, maybe there's been a lot of hard strife and there may be a lot of challenges that have come up for you, but you're getting through them. Wunyo is here to tell you that you have hope, you have the energy, and you have the time to give to your family and to your friends. This is you helping and working with other people, but enjoy this. This is this contentment. This is the beauty and the best parts of your life right now. Love you so much, Brittany. Let's see here. So, also guys, don't forget to like, subscribe, and share to this video. Thank you so much to everyone. Thank you so much. Now we can, you know, still get into the readings, but I do want to show off a few things from the SG that I love. Okay, make sure that you hit up Spiritual Gardens on the south side of Indy. Okay. Obviously this is where I teach classes, but also too, this is also where I get a lot of like my witchy supplies, especially when it comes to runes and the Norse gods. I mean, seriously, I don't know, there's not many places where I find this stuff. So I'm going to show off a little bit of some merchandise, some of my favorite gods. This is Tyr. This is literally the god that literally is so selfless that he literally sacrifices his arm to Fenrir the wolf. Now this is more of like, in my opinion, if you're familiar with tarot, this is kind of like more of a knight, or maybe even a page when it comes to this sculpture, but I still love the symbology and the imagery with this, as Fenrir is literally taking his arm into his mouth, Fenrir being like the vicious wolf that literally is going to take it right off of Tyr. But Tyr also did this for Odin. Tyr also did this to save the Aesir gods. And I don't know, it's just like we talk about it a lot in, I believe it's week 3 or 4 of my Elder Futhark Runes class, and just his story alone is being selfless. It's definitely, giving to charity, going and giving yourself up to causes. It's a little bit of like a martyrdom key, but at the same time, those are kind of the people we love to talk about as heroes. So again, you can get this beautiful bronze Tyr statue at the Spiritual Gardens. Spiritual Gardens is also online now, so you can actually purchase this online. It's Spiritual Gardens Indy. If you haven't liked and followed the Facebook page, you should like right now. Okay. We also have, again, a couple of these rune sets. So here's a couple of rune sets right here. This is like more of the resin ones. Still super cute. This set right here is $13 in store. These are really good to cast with too. These are going to be like super durable when you're actually doing a rune cast. And again, this set right here is $13. Okay, and this is also a handmade rune set. This one I actually made myself. One thing you'll learn about runes is like you'll really understand them better when you start drawing them more or working with them more. So the way I kind of worked with runes is learning how to make rune sets. So this is just kind of mine. Here's Sowilo, Rune of the Sun. This is also Laguz. This one's really good for your intuition. Know thyself, know thy worth. Very High Priestess upright in tarot, if you will. Let's do one we haven't talked about yet, and let's do Rido. Rido, a lot of people get confused by this one because Rido essentially talks about the wheel. in our life, or a vehicle or a wagon, but you can also think of this as the rune of travel. So this can be talking about traveling, you know, whether that's traveling for a new job or traveling on foot or going somewhere. Upright, we're talking about being able to have like safe travels. Reverse, we're kind of talking about a bumpy ride kind of coming up against us. Here is Dagaz. Dagaz essentially is basically the triangle version of infinity. So essentially this is talking about light or like a breakthrough. I've had some of my students even say they see this kind of like as a window, or even if you turn it on its side, kind of like an hourglass. So you can kind of think of like daylight, of time, of things of you kind of having like an epiphany when you're working with this rune. I often tell my students that a lot of times when it comes to runes, you should meditate with them or try and do like a rune a day. Because at least within a moon cycle, you should be able to like have an idea of when these runes will come up in your life. So let's say you pick Thorsaz. Thorsaz is different from Wunya because Thorsaz literally is like a P, but instead of starting at the top right here, we're going to go into the middle. I like to call this one like thorn in my side. Associated with Thor, but it's better used for defensive work. So if you were doing a little defensive magic, throw a Thorsaz on that person. Sorry. Let's see too. You also have Yara. Yara is the rune of the harvest. This one talks about like reaping what you sow and finding new ways to like basically all the manifestations that are going to come up for you. Maybe you've done this magically, or maybe you've done this in the physical, you know, working so hard at your job you get a promotion. Hera is basically going to tell you like, okay, now is the time that things are going to start coming in to fruition. And again, you can get this rune set for $24 at the SG. This one's the handmade one. Also, again, we have these cute, so freaking cute rune beads, which I think are so good for your tarot bags or creating intentions. Even if you're wanting to put some of these in your hair. This is Awaz, this is the death rune. Yep, I know everybody's scared of the death rune as they're scared of the death card in tarot, but it's literally talking about like ending a cycle and beginning again. So regeneration, rebirthing, things that we're going through. We also have these in gold. A couple of people have come in today and bought these, so I will kind of come in here quickly if you want a set. But these are $3 each. This is also Hagalaz. And this one is essentially, is an H. And it's essentially talking about like an obstacle coming up in your life. This could be an obstacle in the sense of maybe you're stuck in traffic. Or it could be a Mercury in retrograde moment. And we all know how those go. Again, these are $3 each, and you can get these at the store. They'll be at the very front desk where you go to check out. Definitely grab a couple of these. Maybe you could put these on your tarot bag. Maybe you could put these in your hair. Maybe you can make these into a bracelet. There's a lot of ways you can go about this. Again, practical Norse magic, right? So, so something else when it comes to Norse gods, and this is just like something that's kind of coming to me right now, but when it comes to working with Norse deities, I could definitely understand you maybe feeling like you can't connect with them because they're not like another pantheon. You can't really look at them like other gods because they're different. A lot of Norse deities like Frigga is like the all-mother of the pantheon, and she is a wonderful goddess if you're kind of working with very Empress card energy, looking to manifest and nurture and take care of others. But for those who have read of the death of Balder story, we all know sometimes we can have an Empress reverse kind of moment, and we can be a little too over nurturing, a little bit too overwhelming, little mommy dearest energy. You know, the gods are kind of like people, if you think of it that way. It's kind of like, what if the gods were like us? To me, we're like physical incarnations of them, so we all can know a time that we've been overwhelming and nurturing. You can also think of Loki. We all know Loki. God of chaos. Okay, if you have read any of the stories of the Norse gods, you will know that this deity swoops in and chaos arises. It can be anything as a mishap, and some of those mishaps turned into, oh, I don't know, how Odin got, you know, his spear, and how Thor got Mjolnir. So sometimes we know those people that make mistakes and then things still turn out good in the end. We may not like them, we may not like their energy, but we all know a kind of Loki energy. We also could know a little bit of Skadi. Skadi is definitely a deity that a lot of people don't talk about, but it's because she's literally a giantress. Technically, she's only considered a goddess because she married Njord, who is more of the sea. Skadi is more of the mountains and snow, so they don't get along very well as a couple. So we can just find different things about these Norse deities that we can all connect with. Also too, we have this lovely bust right here. This is of Odin, also a beautiful, beautiful statue here. I love this one because not a lot of Odin statues I find have Hugin and Munin on them. Hugin and Munin are overthought in memory, and Odin literally takes them and has them run around all of Asgard to find out the news, because Odin is basically petty and also nosy, okay? Especially when it comes to knowledge and magic, he wants all the goods, all the goods. You can also pick this up at the store, and I'll also show Thor over here. Now, a lot of people say like, oh, I would love to work with Odin, I would love to work with Odin. Baby, if you work with Odin, you are working with madness, because that deity likes to get a lot of knowledge at random times of the day. Odin literally calls me at like sometimes 9 in the morning and is like, you need to go to a bookstore and get knowledge. There's probably something there for you. Won't tell me what, won't tell me why. When you want to work with Odin, that's cool. That's totally fine. I get it. He's the Allfather. But you probably should work with Thor, because Thor is actually going to come and answer questions for you. He's not going to sit back and just leave you in the middle of nowhere, wandering like Odin might. So I would definitely love this Thor statue. He's also the patron for farmers. So if you're trying to sow in the crops and essentially learning how to manifest what you want, talk to Thor. Thor also uses Mjolnir to actually bless and consecrate a lot of the things that are in the Norse worlds. Like, you can actually use that to, he's actually consecrated for weddings and given blessings and given favor to people using Mjolnir. So similar to the comics, but they really kind of missed the mark on just how great of a deity Thor is. Well, guys, I think that is about it. Again, if you guys ever want to talk about the Norse gods, hit me up. If you want to get into these classes, make sure to call the number 317-985-6534 for Spiritual Gardens. Classes are starting soon, so you better get in fast, because these spots are going to fill really quickly. So I will see you guys later. Have a great night. Okay. Excellent. Yes.